All right, so we're playing a 5-color Golos Field of the Dead deck. I'm interested to see how this compares to the Yarok Field deck that we've been playing. This is an Ali Andrazi creation. I'd like to start this off by showing people something that is a question I get a lot in YouTube comments. I think a lot of people don't know how to do it. When you have Nexus of Fate and a deck you're planning to play in best of 3, if you want to avoid it being grayed out like this, click on the deck box, and on the left side here where it says Standard, click Traditional Standard, which means best of 3, and then it'll no longer be redded out because that card's not banned in best of 3 Standard. So if that being read has annoyed you, because it is annoying, that's how you make it not be read. Marty, thank you for the 40 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, anywho, like, at a glance, this deck looks like it's kind of peak Ali, which for those that are not familiar with Ali's history, he's someone I've played Magic with often on the SCG tour for many years when I was traveling to do that. And Ali's kind of notorious for like decks that go really big and up over the top, but also just like fail to respect aggressive decks at all. So like I look at this and I go, well, this is like a 4, 5, or 6 drop. Like, I have 4 cards in my deck that I can play before turn 3, and even my 3 drops aren't good against aggro. And like, I've got a couple of Baffling Ends and a couple of Legions and Deputy Attention on the sideboard, but I'm expecting to just get dumpstered by Vampire. So I'm actually gonna play this one in a league because the ladder has been really heavily Vampires recently, and I would like to finish in the top 1,000 this season. Yep, I agree. I think this deck is like leaning into trying to be good against the other Field of the Dead decks at the cost of making itself worse against aggressive decks. The Immortal Sun should kill all the vampires. I feel like a flavor judge would rule in your favor there. Immortal Sun should kill the vampires. I'm gonna bottom that, hoping to draw one of our 3 drops here, basically. Oh, you know what? And this is a little awkward. The way I elected to sequence my lands here is I actually can't play Teferi on 3 because this is currently a tapped land. Sweet. That's a 3-drop I can play, though. Sweet, that's our 5th color. And the opponent is Rad for Life, which I'm like 90% sure they're a sub. If that's Rad for Life forever. I would bet this deck is good against Yarok Field. Like I said, this deck's basically trying to maximize its greed. And I bet this deck manages to go over the top of Yarok Field because we have so many, Nexus of Fates. I'm looking forward to the Netflix animated show. Maybe, I'm not super huge into animated things in general. Like, I'm not really into, like, a lot of that stuff. I think the last animated series, what was the last animated series I watched? I think Rick and Morty was the last animated series I watched. And I still haven't watched season 3 of that. Burning Piggy, thank you for the 18 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. In general, I tend to prefer like live action type stuff. Like, while the actual show Green Arrow went a bit downhill as the seasons progressed, that Arrowverse, like, all the shows surrounding that, like, the time travel one and, like, Supergirl, those are a lot of the things that I usually watch when I'm watching Netflix. Legends of Tomorrow, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I agree. I don't know, I really like Supergirl. Flash is probably my number 2. They're probably, for me personally, like Supergirl, Flash, and then Legends. Black Sheep for real. Thank you for the 4-month resubscription there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. You know, I just have so little time to actually watch TV these days that, I haven't kept up on a lot of the things in there, and I've actually just been skipping over the crossover episodes. Just because I don't have enough time to, like, watch all of them and care about them. Nah, I never really got into Avatar. You know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really watch TV shows, what's the best way to phrase it? I don't watch TV shows where I have to, like, watch them every week. Like, I'm a millennial, I binge on Netflix, so, like, TV shows don't exist for me until they, like, are on a streaming service. So I think I want a Yarok before I Golos here. Netflix is going to be hurting soon. Why is that? Oh, Disney Plus. I'm excited for Disney Plus just because it will hopefully mean I can watch all of the Marvel movies in one sitting right on through. Because, like, right now, there's not an easy way to just, like, I've watched, like, one-offs of the Marvel movies here and there, but I would really just like to watch them, like, start to finish somewhere in the correct order. No, I've not watched all of them. Not like a 30, I'd like to watch them like a TV series, basically. Like, just watch each movie as an episode, basically. Or, like, watch half of movies, like, in 45-minute chunks or half-hour chunks. Yeah, I have watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I really like that one. The last season I couldn't do, though. When they, like, went off-world into, like, the space station, things got strange. And I just couldn't do it. Yeah, I know you don't have to watch all of them, but I'd like to. It's actually Netflix. The people that like created Netflix, they were really insightful and smart. And like, there's a quote from forever ago from one of the people from Netflix. They're like, our goal is to become HBO before HBO can become us. And they really did a good job of doing that, honestly. Yeah, a lot of their exclusive content is like very reasonable. So playing this means I can't Teferi on 3, but I'm gonna Rejuvenator on 3, so I think that's fine. All of these borderless ones are fantastic. That's an interesting turn 3 play. Yeah, I agree. I'll be very disappointed if they don't have that, Mega Vega. Dear opponent, you have the 2 3s. Both male branch. Ideally, they should have both. So I want to get a red source with this. You can get to Scry. It's good clean value. Oh, look at that, chat. They gave us another Golos enter the battlefield trigger. That's nice of them. I appreciate you, opponent.
Right on schedule. I'll protect you.
Oh, yeah, I can get a third field here, can't I? Yeah, that's a good suggestion. And this makes 12 friends. I think if we play a bunch of Field of the Dead Mirrors, we're going to be pretty favored with this deck. I feel like this just goes over the top of everyone. Oh, I totally did Yarok math, didn't I? Yeah, it's only 6. 6 is a lot less impressive, is all I'm going to say. Need another red source here, ideally, so I can activate Golos twice. Morning, Blackwell. And then I have so many zombies at this point that I'm actually going to attack with all of these, because if they eat some, that's fine. Because, like, Deputy Detention is how they get back in this game anyways, so if they don't have Deputy, they're dead. And if they do have Deputy, I want to get in as much damage as possible before they Deputy my squad. So they're going to trigger their Field of the Dead a little bit here, but they're not nearly as good at that as we are. You're just dead on board, right? Yep. Alright, so I want Legion's End and Deputies. Now, honestly, probably Time Wipe. Time Wipe's really funny here. The Arc White Tick was okay. I think it's definitely more cute than good. It was more of a... It was more of a, we asked ourselves if we could do this rather than if we should do this. What am I cutting here? Sideboarding does not feel clean and easy. I feel like I have infinite cards for this matchup and nothing like very obvious to cut. Am I supposed to cut Time Raveler? Is Time Wipe not good enough? Yeah, Agent stealing their field seems okay. Maybe that's not good enough. Maybe it's just like Agent of Treachery and Time Raveler out. This is really powerful because, like, it, like, picks Krasis back up and Golos and Deputy and cleans the board up. It's also like, am I supposed to bring in Veil of Summer here? Like, my opponent probably has counterspells. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a good way to defend Time Raveler either, so he's just gonna die a lot of the time. Sure. Maybe our entire sideboard should be Vampire Hate, probably. Hey, Blackwell, thank you for the over-year support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. More people leaving in a Boreal Grazer in the Field of Dead mirror match. To each their own, I guess. Ramp on 1-2 on the play is pretty good, though. We'll see if they can aggro us or not. I feel like especially post-board, just trying to be linear is not a good plan. Post-board, everyone has ways to interact with these decks now. Those pesky flying zombies. I mean, if they don't have a counterspell as their last card, like this time wipe just, like, destroys them, right? And grab a black source here. So if I draw Legion's End, it's castable. Probably need to restart the client. Getting a lot of micro setters here. Cannon Gear, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. If you're having a wonderful Tuesday wherever you're at. Towards Hallowed one in the queue. Will do. Will do. I'm gonna keep that. Because if this finds a Field of the Dead, then this can go find some things to put into play. And even just gaining more mana while I have Nexus of Fate in my hand is probably not a bad idea. With the Drawn from Dreams, like next turn I have 7 and I'm gonna put 1, 2, 3, 4 lands into play. So like starting next turn I'll be able to like Drawn and Nexus at the same time. Which is like pretty sweet. We're bouncing my Rejuvenator. Deal Areno. I know, Kitty, it doesn't make sense to me either. Even though I don't have a field yet, I think I just want as many lands as possible with this Drawn from Dreams being cast next turn. We're not really accomplishing anything with extra turns at the moment is the awkward part. That's, speaking of awkward. Alright, I guess I'm just gonna leave that there and pass now. And I'll activate Arc at the end of their turn. Now, the scary part here is because they're keeping this, they can end step, scape shift, untap, kill me now. like I kind of need to like go infinite here. That's pretty unlikely to happen. We'd really love it if they could tap off Escape Shift here, and like, well, they don't guaranteed have it, they could. Why are they Escape Shifting at sorcery speed? I mean, thank you, I guess, but seems weird. They have a second Escape Shift. Yeah, they're probably just new to the deck, and they don't realize that, like, they should do this at my end step. Infinite Setters later. Playing around me having a Teferi. I mean, if I cast a Teferi, they just Escape Shift in response, so there's no reason for them to sequence like this. We were definitely losing if they sequence better. Maybe they're playing around me having a counter. No, I can't have a counter. They have Teferi, chat. Stop it. We are playing Hearthstone. This is Teferi, Hero of Hearthstone. You don't have to play around anything because your opponent's not allowed to have things. This is stupid. Yeah, there's 4 copies of Nexus in our deck, chat. For people who are for the uninitiated. We are playing 4 copies of Nexus. I said we needed to go infinite here, didn't I? Wow. Hashtag never lucky. I mean, to be fair, us doing it with 4 copies of Nexus of Fate is probably way more obnoxious. It's definitely way more obnoxious than just Field of the Dead. If you think Yarok plus Deputy is really sweet, it is. You definitely want to watch the... You definitely want to go watch the deck that we played the other day, Yarok White. It played Yarok with Deputy and lots of other things. There is an arrow for our lands here. We played Yarok with Ixalan's Binding. They have Settle the Wreckage, chat. Their last card is Settle the Wreckage. Holy crap, they don't have the mana for it. That's a tranquil cove and not a blue-green land. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. All right, I'm gonna hit play, but I'm gonna microwave some pizza really quick. I'll be right back. I'm gonna bottom this, looking for an untapped land here. Yeah, I have a microwave. I have a microwave in my office. Oh no, me being fat and hungry made me forget to restart the client. Mini fridge, yeah, we got a mini fridge behind me too. The fridge and microwave were a big upgrade. The dorm room special, yeah, exactly. We're looking for another white source here, so we can cast this time wipe at some point. This is an aggressive deck that contains disruption for small amounts of removal, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're very bad in this matchup. Our deck is exceedingly greedy and clunky. Yeah, we actually talked about this earlier. We played against a Teamer Flash variation earlier today. And while these Flash variations, like, aren't very powerful in general, they tend to be they feel bad emotionally to play against, where your opponent just, like, sits there and says no again and again and again. Like, even the games you win, you tend to walk away from with, like, a bad taste in your mouth. Is the best way to put it. I think I want to play Golos this turn as opposed to Teferi, because next turn, if I draw another untapped land, I can Golos and Teferi and get a double spell turn, which would be nice. Wow, main deck Ceratops. That's brutal. actually can't even time wipe here because I don't have a second wipe. Holy crap, what is this? Wow, that's the longest pause I've ever seen there. That was kind of absurd. I just made a note to restart the client after we're done, so we'll definitely get to that here. I think we just cut the Nexus of Fates, right? Do I want more time wipes? Time wipes just so much mana. I don't think that I do. Maybe these Legion's Ends are fine. They clean up some of their cheaper threats. I don't really have good answers to the 4/4 Flash Wolf, which is awkward. Pretty awkward. One of the kind of nice things about not being on Tempo Storm anymore is I don't have to peel the labels off my iced tea bottles. Because part of my contract with them was I couldn't have non-Red Bull branded beverages on my stream. Which I don't have green mana, but the rest of this is fine. So did that just run out? They wanted to renegotiate my contract again, and the rate that they were able to offer just didn't make sense for me to stay on with them, basically. Yeah, that's true. Pure Leaf, if you're... Just taking a sip from my nice, refreshing Pure Leaf iced tea. This stream is in no way sponsored or endorsed by Pure Leaf, but Pure Leaf, if you're out there, it certainly could be. Let's talk. All right, back to the magic. And, like, playing the Cutthroat in response, it doesn't even really do anything here, because I just, like, bounce it.
Might be a bad idea.
Yeah, I usually drink their unsweetened tea, but they're for their flavored ones, both their lemon and their raspberry are ones I enjoy. Loving the impromptu shows. Thanks for the bit, Scissor. BN Trusty back to the internet after settling in grad school. Take my Bezo bucks. Bet you a sub. Hogok never gets banned. That's bold. That's a... Hogok never gets banned is a strong claim.
I've got it.
Yeah, the main deck Ceratops actually make a lot of sense for the purpose of pounding through Teferi's. I thought it was a little bit weird, but that seems. How do we kill Ceratops? We don't. We just die.
Now what?
Thank you for the clip there. I want to have my social media manager tweet that one out because it's real funny. I guess we're gonna start making zomboys and girls here, right? So I think I start with this. And the extra Field of the Dead here is actually a great pickup. And I think I just take Temple of Mystery here. So I can shock this in, which makes a thing, and then on their turn, I can Growth Spiral plus Veil of Summer to protect my Growth Spiral to drop this other field in and make more 2/2s, which is great. Hey, Destrominator, thanks for the big tip. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Here's some America's most democratic dollars. Can you add in black-red Skelementals? Will do, will do, will do. So, for people who haven't been playing Modern or aren't familiar with it, Hagak is a 0 mana 8/8 that you regularly cast on the second turn of the game. And when you cast it, it brings a 8/8 trample. Yeah, that's true. Trample's important. It's an 8/8 trample that you cast for free that also brings the card Vengevine back with it, which is a 4/3 with haste. Yeah, definitely, Destrominator. Bumping decks that you've added is always great. Noted. All right, so let's start with this. Try and find another Field of the Dead. I just find it incredibly funny that the same people who assure me Stoneforge Mystic is too good for Modern, they thought Hagak was okay to print. That's just like, all you need to know about R&D and how Modern works is the same people who tell you Stoneforge Mystic is too good thought Hagak was fine to print. So maybe we should just admit that Magic's really complicated and we don't really know, and we should free Stoneforge Mystic. I think I'm putting Veil on top here. Did I get it muted in time? I think I was muted in time there, but I apologize if I wasn't. It's funny, I'm just so used to impulse muting myself when I sneeze that I find myself hitting my mute hotkey when I sneeze while offline. That's kind of amusing. Golos is excellent. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I think what I actually want to do here is pass. And then next turn I can generate a triple spell turn. I can go Deputy, Golos, and Veil to protect them. I'm really kind of confused why they ran this Frilled Mystic out rather than just drawing a card. Like, the 3/2 body is pretty useless on my board full of zombies. The Teamer Flash deck that we had played against earlier today seemed like a reasonable take on the archetype. Like it was playing the deal 2 to all creature spell to make their Escape Shift matchup better. Alright, we managed to get on the scoreboard here. Just gonna go ahead and run it back. Yes, maybe. If I hit a white source, I get to cast Baffling End. All right, sure. Well, the Tempo Storm banner was in a different place then. The Tempo Storm banner is like another element on the stream. Which, having less clutter on the screen is like also a positive overall. Alright. Discard a counterspell, please. Drawn from Dream sounds excellent. In fact, I think I'm gonna root next turn. Bids to pour one out for the Bit Cup. Yeah, the Bit Cup just had to go, unfortunately, in the name of clutter. The Bit Cup also was causing random frame rate lag for me, so that was another part of why I cut it. I like that line of thinking. It isn't my cards getting countered, it's my opponent's discarding a counterspell. Yeah, exactly. I think I just want to root here. What was the Bit Cup? The Bit Cup is a graphical element I could theoretically put on the screen that the bits physically fall into when people cheer. Arena lag. It's going to be incredibly embarrassing if they tag an official release of this application. They haven't fixed all these random frame rate drops. Yeah, it's been a while since that was on the overlay. Wow, do we need a Field of the Dead? Candelam, I appreciate your consistent and transparent business model. You deserve your success. I'm happy to contribute to that. Thanks for the half a year support. Welcome back. I have more things that I can't really do anything with. Double Baffling to Rufus-Ceratops, right? All right, I think it's Rejuvenator and Krasis here. And I'm hoping this hits... Oh, did I already play a land this turn? I did not. Okay, so I'm hoping this hits a Field of the Dead. Okay, so that hits a field, and then this makes a thing, and I go to 16. And going to 16 here is also valuable because these have 5 power, which is nice. I like when the Bit Cup allowed me to cheer a bunch to basically crash the stream. Rude. How much memory is this thing using? Is this a memory issue? What's the RAM count? Arena is using 2.1 gigs of RAM, which isn't that much more than when it started. All right, so how many lands do I have here? I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to do this for X's 8. So that way, and actually, I should manually tap so I can leave green up. So hopefully this draws a land, so that way we can make another 2/2 here. What's my favorite field of math to study? I'm a big fan of graph theory. All right, sweet. This might be a game-winning Veil of Summer here. We're up to 10 here as well. This Rejuvenator might let us find a second field of the dead next turn, which would be excellent. If we find a second field, we're going to be in a good spot. They, need to have at least one unsummon to get an okay attack, and they need 2 unsummons to have a good attack. Calculus would be my second, but Graph Theory is definitely my number 1 favorite. Oh, it's their protection from blue. Right. I forgot about that. Alright, so even 1 unsummon gives them an okay attack here. Hey, Corinne, thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. Alright, if we find a second field here. Alright. I'm going to lead on this as bait. So they either don't have a counter or they're not taking the bait. Still found a field. Excellent. So then, why not block with the 1/1 to stay at 5? Why do I need, what's the difference between 4 and 5? Why do I need to stay at 5? Can you explain? Yep, Krasis is definitely attack. I run your Sultai Kefnet deck on Arena, and I felt like you deserve the sub. Well, thanks for keeping me around. I'm glad you're enjoying that one. It's definitely one of my favorite control decks in the format right now. Favorite non-Field of the Dead decks. Nice'em, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. There's a lot of great people. You can send that to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending it my way. It's for the Bezo bucks. Dunk. So we're dead to River's Rebuke here. River's Rebuke would kill us. It would bounce our board. There's a card in standard that could kill us there. All right, let's restart this laggy pile of poop, huh? How we doing, folks? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody wherever you're in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. If you're a new viewer, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, sometimes even 50 hours a week. If you enjoy constructed Magic, this is definitely the channel for you. We play a ton of different decks every day. You can always see what's coming up later in my stream by looking at the stream title or checking out the deck queue on my website, magicesports.net. As always, love to give a shout out to my subs. I wouldn't be here day and day without their support, so thanks to all of them for keeping me employed. I'd also like to plug a couple of my wonderful sponsors here really quick. The Vitamin String Quartet creates unique instrumental string arrangements of everything from Zelda to Zeppelin, and they would love to underscore your next gaming session. You can find them streaming now on services such as Spotify and Apple Music. InkedGaming.com will love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mousepads, binders, and bags with them. You can upload your own custom artwork or choose from the right range of artwork that they already have on their website. And Whoa Duels is a peer-to-peer wagering platform that allows other gamers to challenge each other for money. Sign up is free, and you get 10 of their coins just for signing up. They also do daily free tournaments as well as monthly giveaways. And, of course,
Don't make your life garbage time. Join us in Hoaglandia today by subscribing to Jeff Hoagland with Twitch Prime today.
Alright, we're 3-0 with this Golos Field of the Dead deck. I think if we keep queuing into other mid-range and control decks, we should have a good time. Although we did manage to scrape by against Simic Flash on the back of Veil of Summer. Need to bleed my image onto the card art somehow? Nah, that sounds like a lot of effort. Sounds like way too much effort. Ah, yes, the classic Overgrown Tomb, Basic Forest Field of the Dead, double Teferi time Raveler opener. An opening hand that only a mother could love. Yikes. This isn't good, but it's where we're at in life, chat. This is the bed we've made. We're going to lie down in it. Ooh, that's a good pickup. Cemetery, Island, Spiral, drop that. Hit a 4th untapped land, get to play Root. Maybe get to get going from there. Oh no, not another deck full of counter spells. Man, I feel like I haven't... Did Flash post a result at a tournament somewhere? My anecdotal evidence is we haven't played against Flash in like forever, and we've played it 3 times today now. Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird when like we play a good bit here, and like just haven't had any of my sample sizes for a little bit. And like now we hit it twice in a row. Caleb was playing some of it. That makes a lot of sense. Well, to be fair, this is a constructed event that I'm playing in. So the constructed events, in my experience, tend to have less vampires than the Mythic and the ladder does. Well, one of the first of the Flash decks that we played against today was on the ladder male branch. The teamer build was, the person was like top 1,000. But you are right, in general, these events tend to have fewer vampire decks in them, in my experience. Compared to in the top 1,000 on the Mythic ladder. Be kind of surprised if this resolves. Do I remember the first time I played Magic? Yeah, I was 11 years old. My cousin and I were gifted a box of old Magic cards from one of his neighbors who was moving away. And we attempted to teach ourselves to play. We weren't very successful at it. A 10 and 11-year-old reading a Magic rulebook didn't successfully translate what the intentions were for all of it, believe it or not. Alright, what are we doing here? 7 looks, and none of them are untapped white sources. Yikes. Yikes. Alright, I'm taking the Temple of Silence, I guess. And I'm taking, Growth Spiral, I guess. To, like, get a redraw. What was it? The most messed up rules translation we had as small children in my playgroup is we thought return target permanent to its owner's hand meant return target card permanently to its owner's hand. So we played a bunch of boomerangs, and we played, there was this really awful card in Odyssey called Dematerialize. It was a 4-mana sorcery that returned a card to its owner, a permanent to its owner's hand, and it flashed back for 7. So we just like all had a bunch of copies of that card. Stone cold unplayable. It was the scourge of our play group because we had no idea what that meant. Oh, I could have made a 2/2 with that. No, that was an island I bottomed, right? Yeah, I don't have enough lands yet. I only have 6 lands, so I need a differently named land. Drawing Rejuvenator here is a reason to have Growth Spiral during my main phase. You know, Texas Horror, that's actually a really common misconception, and that being a common misconception is part of the reason why if you look at the latest iteration of Land War Elves, the Oracle text is a little bit different. It doesn't say to your mana pool anymore. And that change in text helped avoid a lot of confusion. Alright, and this is kind of why, and this game here is kind of why I think the opponent's deck has fallen off a good bit. Because, like, they've, like, countered my stuff and disrupted me, but I've just, like, hit my land drops here, and I'm gonna make 2/2s, and they can't counterspell my ability to make 2/2s. Nefarious, thank you for the 2 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So I'm going to leave that Nexus of Fate there, because I think, yeah, this is the Valakut against a fair deck plan, where, like, they disrupt your combo elements. You're just like, I'm just going to make land drops here. Hope that's cool. Opponent concurs that they can't beat us playing lands. Excellent. I think I want these Legion's Ends in my deck. Land drops are great. Man, it's still funny to me that Bernie Sanders has a Twitch channel. This platform is more than just gaming, chat. I'm actually kind of surprised that he's the only one who does out of the 25 or 30 or whoever amount. Yeah, he's live now. Bernie_Sanders is his official campaign channel on Twitch. Yeah, it shows a good understanding of the people that they need to actually get motivated to vote. I can't keep this, right? It's like triple white card, no white mana. This is marginally better. Think we keep this one. I'm gonna bottom Drawn from Dreams here, I think. Yeah, what's his name? I'm blanking on the dude's name who's the Joe Rogan podcast interview, right? Yeah, I sat through that one. It was very, very good interview. Yeah, a lot of the progressives are portrayed in like really negative lights on a lot of the corporate media because the progressive ideas are bad for the people who own the corporate media. So, strap my tinfoil hat on here for a second. Well, if we can find a white source, one of these Time Ravelers might stick eventually. I think we might be dead. I think we have moved towards dead here. I think this is probably, I'd assume this is too little too late. I think we needed that last turn. I mean, like, we got magicked to a degree, but, like, our deck is a pretty greedy 5-color mana base, too, so, like, some of this isn't just bad luck so much as it's, like, a risk that we're accepting is going to happen with the deck that we're choosing to play, right? Oh. I'm looking forward to the September debate where they tell all the children to get off the stage. There are way too many people up there for the first 2 debates that just shouldn't have been there. If I never have to hear John Delaney open his mouth again, it'll be too soon. Him and Tim Ryan need to shut up and let the adults talk. But I guess I know what their names are now, so like that was probably the point. I probably couldn't have told you what their names were before those debates, but I also know I will probably never vote for them in anything ever. Sure. Var. White source, blue source, untapped land. Teferi on 3. What do I think of Andrew Yang? I actually tweeted over the weekend, so to put my cards on the table and to be fully transparent, I've made campaign contributions to 3 of the people running in the primary, and they are Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, and Andrew Yang. Listen to a few of Yang's interviews, and he has a lot of really good ideas. What's my take on UBI? I think it sounds like something that's very necessary. I think the points that Yang makes in a lot of his interviews about it are very reasonable. In my opinion, Grandpa Joe is the Hillary Clinton of this election cycle. I think if he gets the nomination, there will likely be 4 more years of Trump. And I'm hoping that's not the case, but I really do not care for him. Status quo Joe, that's a good one. Yeah, but like the rest of the people who are similar to Hillary aren't polling in a place where they're going to be relevant. Most of the other ones that are similar to here won't be on the stage come September. No double blue here is pretty good for us. And again, just to put my cards on the table, anybody who's going to give us nationalized healthcare and address climate change as a serious issue, those are like my 2 big voting points, which are met by a significant number of people up there on those stages. So would be reasonably happy with any of the progressives. Yeah, let's not say things like that, Calendras. All right, so we get to stick Golos here. So we get to do this, and then this grabs field, which then makes a 2/2. I've talked about this before too, Stilphinex. While Bernie's voting record is great, and I would not mind if he was elected president, his age gives me very real worry. And until I know who Bernie's running mate is, I wouldn't in good conscience support him or his campaign. Because who his running mate is really important. Like, he's old enough that he could just, like, die of natural causes while in office. So I think I want to block here, because if I block here, they can just pay 1 and trample over, right? It would make them spend a mana, but, like, what is making them spend a green mana do, right? I don't think their deck's that strange. A lot of the cards they're playing are cards that are, like, in the sideboards of these decks. I guess if I would have... Wow, that just resolved. Alright, so this game should be done. I was not expecting that one to resolve, and now that it did, this game is probably over. The third, every land drop making 6 power at this point. Hey, I may be fat, happy, and married, thank you very much, but I generally go to the gym somewhere between 3 and 5 times a week, thank you. That's true, we are dead to Rebuke. Sans a Rebuke, we should have this game on lock. No, not all of their counterspells need UU. They play Syncopate, and this person actually played Essence Scatter earlier. All right, well, we're 4-0. I'm honestly... I'm really impressed we beat the 2 Flash decks. I'm not surprised we beat the other Field of the Dead decks. Like, this is like peak Field of the Dead greedy. Honestly, even Warren is pretty old, and she's one of the 3 people that I gave a campaign contribution to, but she'd be like 71 when she's sworn in, right? Which isn't quite like Bernie, Biden, Trump old, but it's still up there. I think this is a keep. Like, this deck just doesn't do anything. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not super familiar with Tulsi. I listened to half of an interview with her on after I listened to Rogan's interview with after I listened to the Rogan interview with Bernie, I listened to his Yang, and I got like halfway through Tulsi and I ran out of time and had to go do something else. So I'm not super familiar with her positions on things, and she's also not polling particularly high, and there's a lot of other reasonable choices that are polling at a reasonable amount. I've heard a lot of things like that, Ian, but I haven't done any research to validate it myself. This is kind of leaning into the expectation I mentioned earlier of that I'm not sure how this deck ever beats a reasonable Vampires draw. For people that are going to get into it over Tulsi, I'd ask that you please take it to the political dark place on the subs Discord. Remember to cite your sources, please. I'm back. I took the bar exam, and TLDR on what's going on in Magic in the past 3 months. Believe it or not, Modern Horizons messed up Modern past the point of being reasonable. Like, they printed a card, and they already banned something from the deck, and the deck is still Eldrazi Winters level obnoxious. This current standard format, I think, is very reasonable, and there's a lot of sweet decks in it. But I also think that hype's kind of low in general because we're just kind of close to rotation, which is natural. You know, Tumos, honestly, I just want to a degree past a progressive, if we just, like, had a president where, like, I just didn't have to think about them most of the time, that would be great. Like, if the person who has access to the nuclear codes didn't do something that make me went, oh, man, why is this happening? Like, just, if the person who could, like, you know, you know, if they just didn't do things that forced me to think about them constantly, that would be great. I think this is a Teferi out matchup, probably. He's not very good against aggro. At least some of them come out. Yarok's just good with lifelink here, probably. I think it's probably all of those. I watch John Oliver most weeks, and his bit about the new British Prime Minister was kind of wild. I want a president that when I tell people from countries that are not the USA where I'm from, they don't say I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. All right. This hand has Time Wipe and all of the colors to cast it. So I think we're going to hope a turn 4 Time Wipe is good enough here. I also want to set myself up so I can Growth Spiral as soon as possible, right? So we're going to lead Temple of Epiphany on 1. Boris is like a Looney Tune come to life, but only awful. All right, this is a good start for us. There's no Vanguard here, which is what we don't want to see. All right, so I need white, white, blue. So if I play this, it doesn't matter what other lands I put into play here. So we're gonna Growth Spiral at their end of turn and then untap and Time Wipe, which is great. Hopefully they just like put a 4/4 into play here. They might also just plus because then the knight gets bigger. Put the Field of the Dead into play here. We're going to go to 14. The knight will get bigger. I'm pretty sure, especially with the second Time Wipe drawn, I just want to keep this board clear. Although that's pretty appealing, he says, as he can't cast it. This mana base. Double Planeswalker here is rough. Double Planeswalker here is rough. Probably Legion's ending this just to exile it so they can't keep getting it back with this. Sorin is super strong with this. Ha. So do I just enter the God Eternals this then? And then I can start attacking this next turn? I realize they can get it back, but that eats up their Planeswalker activation for the turn, which is nice. I think I want to just do this. This may or may not be right. Playing this before I Time Wipe might be wrong. If we can manage to find our way to a Golos, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. Because that'll get us a second Field of the Dead, which starts activating. Yeah, the fact that this gives me an attacker while they have 2 good Planeswalkers in play is a big deal.
I demand servitude. This is but a taste of my power.
It's unfortunate they didn't have a second Knight of the Ebon Legion. So we can get him 2 for... What you got in your hand? Bricks. Sign me up. All right, I think we're ahead at this point, right? Because we just don't have bricks left in our deck because every land makes a 2/2. And this block makes a lot of sense because they just get to -1 the Sorin and get it back. And like we have this time wipe as a reset button here. When Sorin 3 has lifelink, does his +1 gain you 6 life? It does, in fact. Another Planeswalker.
Gods bless us in our righteous cause.
The fact that they just made a 2/3 is a little rough.
I believe in you.
They're mostly out of gas, though, which is great. I'm going to cast this before I play the Harbor, because we could draw another field. We could also draw that, which is quite excellent. Wow, that was a good draw. Alright, so this goes here, this goes here. Thunk, thunk. Alright. Alright, we're gonna have to win game 3 on the draw, but this one's probably a lock from here. Yeah, they had another Planeswalker? Yeah, gross. So I assume they're going to eat a 2/2 and let Sorin die here, especially with another one in their hand. Bass! Thank you for the 3 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Is it... Do I just time wipe and kill this Vana? I feel like I just time wipe and kill this Vana, right? Anybody else think that's just the line?
My heart is too hollow to care.
Lillipad Swag, thank you for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. And 20 months with DJ Jedi Jeff. Happy Tuesday, folks. Hope you're having a wonderful beginning to your week.
My own obligations.
So, I think I'm gonna just hold on to this deputy for the time being. Just, like, wait for the next vampire they play, because my zombies can, like, kill this sword inside of combat, right? So I don't need to, like, burn a removal spell on him effectively. We're in the lands are good, spells are good portion of the game, which is always a great spot to be in. So long as we don't get, like, Command the Dread Hoarded, like we had a Vampires player do to us the other day, we should be in a good spot here. They did also have almost 70 health for that command, you're not wrong. It's a tough beat. Alright, and that should be a lock now, even if they had something like Command the Dread Horde, their health total's just too low. They could have something like Legion's End to buy themselves a little bit of time, but even that's probably not going to be enough here. Alright, so that's supposed to be the easy game, right? That's the game where we're on the play against the aggro deck. So this is the game where, like, we're on the draw and don't have a lot of meaningful plays until, like, turns 3 and 5. So this is the hard one. Going first always feels like a huge advantage. What will WotC need to do to make going second better? There's a variety of things that Wizards of the Coast could do to make going second better. My recommendation that I really hope they try at some point, and it's just a very small bonus, is I think the player on the draw should start with 8 cards in their hand when mulliganing and just not draw a card on the first turn either. So basically, you just get more information when you're making your mulligan decisions. And especially with the London mulligan, that would make being on the draw a good bit more powerful, I think. Moon Pie, thanks for the brand new Prime Sport. There's a lot of great people you can ship that to every single month. Thanks for shipping it my way this month and keeping me around. Welcome, welcome. Yikes. Okie doke. So this hand, needs to draw lands and it needs to draw spells, which is a little awkward. I guess we have Deputy. A free scry on the draw. Yeah, there's a ton of different things that they could do for sure. I would like it personally if they would just try something. Even if they don't get it right the first time. I don't know, and like, nothing is gonna make it better in every situation, MK all day, but just like, something is better than nothing, essentially. Mr. P, thank you for the 13 months, I appreciate that, welcome back. Yeah, the big differential between play and the draw is a big part of why I don't like playing best of one. Honestly. And in best of 3, you get at least 2 chances to break serve, which is nice if you lose the coin flip. Yep.
We stand together.
Yep. Yeah, and I definitely understand that. Best of 3 definitely can feel intimidating when you're new to the game. One of my best pieces of advice for folks getting better at sideboarding when you're new to Magic is practice sideboarding when you're not actually playing the game. So like, sit down in your deck editor and create a copy of the deck that you have and move things in and out and try and figure out how you would sideboard in different situations. I'm gonna grab the swamp here because I have Legion's End sideboarded in right now. So we grabbed our second white there and we grabbed a swamp for Legion's End. This is probably a board worth time wiping, honestly. Baffling End's actually a pretty decent pickup too, because it's gonna let me Drawn from Dreams plus exile something next turn, which is nice. Probably gonna see this Ajani buy back the 1-drop, just like get some threat diversity going. We've hit 7 lands now, so we really are just looking for the ability to get a Field of the Dead going to pull ahead here. Which if we see a field on this Drawn from Dreams, that might be something that we snap off just because it makes all future land draws that much better. I mean, yeah, I think I'm gonna wait. So I'm gonna do this. Perfect. There's a Field of the Dead. There's an Enter the God Eternals. And then I could do this to make a zombie. And then I can Deputy of Detention, take this. And playing the Deputy out isn't a big deal because Time Wipe's gonna pick that back up for me. So, generally speaking, from a magic theory perspective, being slightly bigger in the aggro mirror tends to make things favorable for you. So I would assume people are trying more mid-range configurations of vampires to win the vampire mirror match more consistently. Yes, yeah, when you pick up Deputy with Time Wipe, the creature under it gets destroyed by the wipe, is exactly correct. Very, very powerful interaction. So, now we're definitely wiping. Make some friends. And then, with this Enter and Baffling End here, we might actually, it feels like we're pretty far ahead here. It's honestly pretty impressive. I was expecting this matchup to feel really bad, and this is why I think it's important to, like, actually play games, especially when you're like, testing something that other people have built. Like, they probably had plans for these matchups and, like, see how it actually plays out in practice. Because on paper, I said this looked bad to me, but in practice, it's seeming more than reasonable. Yeah, the ordering is relevant there, Karn. Not only is it because of the ordering in Time Wipe's text box, but it's also because the way Deputy works. So Deputy isn't a trigger that goes on the stack to put the creature back into play. The creature just goes back into play immediately as Deputy leaves, which is an important distinction. That's true too, Suskind. Our opponents boarded into a bunch of Planeswalkers and Duresses, which perhaps that's the wrong way for them to board. Like, they're just really good proactive draw. Game 1 ran us over, but they pulled up, which is giving us more time to get Field of the Dead going. What's our best draw here? Golos is probably one of our best draws here. Yeah, I agree, Hippity. I think especially because my opponent was on the play for this game, they probably should have stayed a little bit smaller. So, I think my turn's gonna be Baffling End this, Deputy this, kill this, attack for 2 here. So it feels like they could have a removal spell here in their hand. They're like debating on if they want to like cast down a zombie or something here. They know about this Deputy though. Oh, they have Legion's End. Okay, that makes a lot of sense where they were on the going back and forth there. I mean... Oh, rats! Drew the worst card in my deck. Make 2 2/2s. I think I'm going to hold this for now. Because there's 2 copies, there's another copy of Conquistador over here, which they might want to get back with Sorin, and then I could snag both of them. If Deputy was a trigger, would the creature then not be destroyed? That's correct, -3 card. So if Deputy returning something to play was a triggered ability that had to use the stack, that trigger would go on the stack while Time Wipe is resolving, and then resolve after Time Wipe is done. I think Time Wipe was made with Deputy in mind. Very likely. Just because things are from different sets doesn't mean they don't make things thinking about the other ones. This R&D is often working a few sets out. The fact that they're not in the same sets doesn't mean they weren't designed to work together. Alright, so let's do this, and exile this, and then I'm gonna send these Zomboys at Sorin. And I'm doing this before I play my land, because if they do something inside of combat to, like, interact with me, what they do inside of combat could influence how I scry here. And I think even though lands are making 2/2/2s, I do think they're the worst draw in my deck here still. So I'm going to go ahead and bottom that. Correct, Nord. The reason why it's templated the way it is because of things that used to happen with Oblivion Ring. That is exactly correct. Yeah, I agree, 10. In fact, something I've talked about on stream somewhat recently is one of the things that I really don't like about one of their design changes was I greatly preferred when we didn't just make 4 mana unconditional sweepers. Woof. Was that a good draw, chat? What do we think about that one? Above average? Above average? Probably above average. And then I think I want to kill a Johnny more than I want to kill Sorin here. The reason why I milled myself there as opposed to my opponent is because my opponent has 2 planeswalkers in play that return creatures from their graveyard to play. So giving them more potential targets to return to play is bad. Is Kaya's Wrath the first 4-mana unconditional sweeper since Supreme Verdict? I think so. Can someone fact check that? I think that sounds accurate. Kaya's is the first 4-mana sweeper into standard at least. Our top of our deck is hot here. This Legion's End is probably GG. Honestly, it's probably GG without the Legion's End, but with the Legion's End, it's definitely GG. I don't currently have copies of Nexus of Fate in my deck. I think you're supposed to board those out against aggro. I don't think we need those to win. If you don't count Languish. I would not count Languish. This standard format has convinced me that Lane War Elves, 4-mana unconditional sweepers, and Protection should all be things that should not be printed into standard. In my opinion. I think Bantus is fine. Bantus has a weird conditional. And Hearthstone. Yeah, don't turn Magic into Hearthstone, please.
Curse you and your progeny.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't have another black source, so I can't, Why is protection a problem? Shifting Ceratops is strong but reasonable. God's willing. The reason why protection, in my opinion, shouldn't exist is because protection is confusing to new players and creates an incredibly negative gameplay experience for the people playing, on average. Same view with Regenerate. Yeah, I think Regenerate being largely replaced by Become Indestructible is a reasonable change. From a thematic standpoint, they're different, but from a rules, functionality, and players understanding how these mechanics work perspective, I think Becoming Indestructible is much better. No, it does not, Mick. Because Spell Queller is a trigger to recast it. So if you time wipe and pick up Spell Queller, the board's going to get destroyed and then your opponent's creature is going to be on the stack. Alright, well, we hit the Hawaii 5-0 there. And we hit a pretty wide range of things, honestly. I feel like some generic thoughts on this. I'm not convinced that this deck needs Agent of Treachery at the top end. I feel like if I were to play this again, I would dial the greed back down to like a 9 or a 10 as opposed to the 12 that it's currently at. I think if I wanted another big piece of top end here, I would probably play a second Krasis. Krasis was very reasonable at multiple points. It's like good when you're grinding, and it's also good against it's also good. It's okay against aggro when you have lands to gain life with it. I feel like I'd want some amount of cheap interaction down here at the bottom, but which cheap interaction you'd want to play could vary depending on what decks you want to hedge. Overall, I was pretty impressed with this though. I think we would have struggled a little bit more against vampires if they hadn't boarded up, but I felt like what we were doing was reasonably cohesive, and more importantly, the mana was pretty functional throughout the matches that we played. No, Drawn for Dreams is another grindy card. I want more cards to help me not die. To just address protection one more time for a second, the fact that protection saves a creature from dying to Flame Sweep, but doesn't save a creature from dying to Kaya's Wrath is incredibly confusing and unintuitive to newer players. And that's even before you start to think about the fact that, like, this card has protection from my deck, and I can't do anything about it, and I feel really bad because my opponent has a card that